Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and to follow me on Facebook. There are links in the description below. For the last couple of months, we have had a rather large amount, I want to say the last 2 or 3 months, a rather large amount of analysts predicting where the market's going to go. The general idea, this is the idea, is that August and September are going to be phenomenal months for the cryptocurrency market. We've had a lot of analysts who are predicting, once again, a $100,000 plus Bitcoin price by the time we literally are ending September, moving on into October. There's a lot of optimism that's flowing back into the space. A lot of people have become more optimistic, more enthusiastic with the market. And just the idea that we've seen the halving happen. We see the inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs continuing. And we're also now technically at the point historically where Bitcoin begins to kind of rip and roar. For those of you who don't know, it's typically around this time, end of summer, where prices begin to go up. And then this kind of lasts more or less until the end of the next year after the halving, which would give us the end of 2025. An economist, his name is Timothy Peterson, has made a rather bold claim as to where he thinks Bitcoin's price is going. He said, and I quote, "Bitcoin's price is directly and exponentially proportional to the square root of the number of Bitcoin's halvings Bitcoin has undergone. A combination of adoptive curve and Metcalfe's law pushes Bitcoin's price well above $500,000 by the next halving in 2028. I'll try to explain. A lot of people, so you're either on it's going to be normal or it's going to be wacky. There seems to not really be an in-between. It's going to be normal is that Bitcoin is undergoing one of its normal cycles. Bitcoin every 4 years has a halving. The year after the halving, we see the market go completely bananas. And then at some point by the end of the year after the halving, therefore 2024, 2025, towards the end of it, the market begins to go down and we have a lull period over the course of 2 years where whales are continuously buying up tons of Bitcoin. However, here's the wacky side. If you've been missing any of the news in the last week or two, let me lightly fill you in. Whales, rich people, are now holding 90% of all the Bitcoin that's out there. That's not a fake number. You can look back a couple of videos. I'm pretty sure you'll find it. The issue is that we've seen the years of massive accumulation, and now we're at the point where, according to analytics data, the only people who are selling are people who are brand new to the market or are short-term holders. We've gone over this before. People who haven't been in the market that long, who get annoyed, who are frustrated why prices aren't moving up. They sell off their coins, and then we hear the very next day, these coins have been purchased by whales. The idea is, typically, we have these moments where prices go up and then they start to go back down because people who were in the market have begun to sell. But what if no one sells? The other metric that we had before, maybe it was a week or two ago as well, it had something to do with like long-term holders, wallet addresses that have only purchased Bitcoin have continuously bought it up. And we've also seen that when this happens, there's usually like an uptick back up in price. Hyper long story short, for the wacky scenario is that basically, if coins do get sold, they're going to be bought back up. When coins get bought back up, the price tends to go back up as well. Therefore, he's saying, similar to Cathie Wood and Novogratz and all the other ones, they're all coming to the exact same conclusion, which is something that I always find quite special, is that basically where we are right now is kind of the point of no return. I've tried my best over the years to scream into the microphone and tell everyone how there's not a lot of Bitcoin left and how the rich people are buying all of it. Now they own all of it, and now it's basically go time. So once we get to the end of 2025, the predictions are there will be a dip in the market once again as everyone is kind of preparing for, the market to slip back down. But then all that happens is that we continuously slowly go back up as more people continue to try and relinquish their coins. These coins are bought back up by ETF issuers and other wealthy people. We also just recently heard another company is trying to raise $2 billion to buy more Bitcoin. He's saying that by the time we get to 2028's halving, Bitcoin's price will be at $500,000, basically getting it ready to go to a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin after that halving. He's a little bit on the same exact time frame as many of the other ones. Their time frames were, for those of you who don't remember, is 2029. 2029 has been touted as the $1 million. It's anywhere from 800,000 to the $1 million Bitcoin year. That's been the number that's constantly been thrown out there. I think the only one who's been more optimistic has been Plan B. I think he said a 1.1 to a $1.5 million Bitcoin in that time. And then by the time we get to 2032 to 2033, that's meant to be the if you don't got it, you ain't going to get it kind of thing. According to Peterson, this translates into an annual rate of return of approximately 70% for Bitcoin. Peterson has also predicted that Bitcoin should be Peterson also predicted that Bitcoin should be sustainably above $1 million per coin approximately 450 days after the 2028 halving. The 450 days, for those of you who don't know, typically is the time frame that the bull run actually ends up taking place. There are different metrics for it. Some people tend to do it at the halving or sometime during the actual as we get out of the bear market, which would have been the beginning of this year. People have different time frames for it. His idea is that as the 2028 halving is currently taking place in the future, we're at a $500,000 Bitcoin. 450 days, about a year and a half, year and some change after the 2028 halving has happened, Bitcoin has moved up to $1 million per coin. I will say that we are at a point in this market where anything is possible. We've gotten a lot of multi-$100,000 Bitcoin price predictions during this cycle. And it would seem as if, from my vantage point, from the news that we keep getting, the market makers in the market, the people who've been buying up all the Bitcoin, the lower levels of liquidity that we're seeing, like liquidness, like movable Bitcoin in the market, has nearly collapsed because the wallet addresses that have been buying for years are still buying. The long-term holders are still buying. We see some outflows from these wallet addresses, but historically they're just buying up tons of Bitcoin. And as I told you before, a very, very large amount of Bitcoin holders are holding until it's at $1 million per coin. The $1 million idea is that you won't have to sell your Bitcoin at all. You'll be able to simply use your Bitcoin everywhere to be able to buy things. And this is why I also think we've seen this uptick in Lightning Network news as of late, where more people are throwing money into it and the infrastructure is building up in preparation for people actually wanting to use their Bitcoin. If you don't want to use your Bitcoin now, people are far more incentivized to sell off fractions of a Bitcoin when it hits $1 million so that they don't have to sell a huge chunk of it. Yeah, we're getting kind of the same numbers. I said that on the other channel. It's called The Modern Investor. We're getting a lot of on point, same numbers, same kind of information news. Where basically Everyone next year is predicting 250,000 to a $400,000 Bitcoin. That's the numbers that we're seeing. When it gets to 2028, 2029, these numbers are anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million per coin. And then by the time you get to 2040, you're just kind of confused about the world because all the analysts are saying that Bitcoin is anywhere between $5 to $10 million per coin at that point. So, yeah, I think we have some good times ahead. I know the economy and the world have been insane in recent years, but historically, crypto tends to be pretty well suited for a lot of these events. Yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be, I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.